The study of sociolinguistics moves beyond the structural mechanics of grammar to explore the dynamic relationship between language and society. It posits that language is not merely a cognitive tool, but a social institution that both reflects and shapes human identity, power structures, and cultural norms. The social nature of language. At the heart of sociolinguistics is the shift from viewing language as an abstract, isolated system to seeing it as a social practice. No speaker exists in a vacuum. Every utterance is mediated by social variables such as class, gender, age, and ethnicity. The concept of communicative competence is central here. It argues that mastery of a language involves more than just internalizing syntax. It requires the social knowledge of when to speak, what to talk about, and how to adapt one's tone based on the listener and the setting. Language variation, dialect, and register. A critical area of inquiry is the distinction between dialect and register. Dialects are varieties of language categorized by the user's background, whether regional or social. In contrast, registers are functional varieties determined by the context or field of discourse, such as the difference between a formal scientific paper and a casual chat among friends. This inherent variability demonstrates that language is never a monolith. The social stratification of language often leads to the elevation of a standard variety. Critically, certain dialects are labeled non-standard or inferior, not because of linguistic inadequacy, but because their speakers belong to marginalized groups. In this way, language becomes a gatekeeper where the standard variety is used to maintain socio-economic hierarchies. Diglossia and code switching. In multilingual contexts, sociolinguistics observes phenomena like diglossia and code switching. Diglossia refers to a stable situation where two varieties of a language exist side by side, a high variety used for literature, law, and education, and a low variety used for domestic everyday life. Furthermore, code switching, the act of shifting between two languages or dialects in a single conversation, is often unfairly dismissed as a lack of fluency. In reality, it is a sophisticated cognitive and social strategy used to signal group solidarity, mark identity, or navigate complex social environments. Language, power, and identity. Language is never neutral. It is a site of power. Sociolinguistic analysis reveals how language can be an instrument of control. For example, gendered language often reflects deeper patriarchal biases, where masculine forms are treated as the universal norm. By deconstructing these patterns, sociolinguistics exposes how language maintains the status quo and shapes our perception of reality. Sociolinguistics shifts the focus from what is said to who says what to whom and why. It reveals that language is a mirror of the social soul, a living entity that evolves alongside human interaction. Understanding these social dimensions is essential for any serious study of linguistics, as it bridges the gap between the abstract word and the lived experience of the world.